All right, what's going on, man? Y'all know it's your boy Blu-ray Fitness on Instagram. Y'all know I'm the best strength and conditioning coach in the game. I see a lot of these people interview these other people, and they say that, but they don't know no better, so it's okay. But I'm not gonna go back and forth in that because when you do what you do and you know what you know, you don't have to say nothing. Because men lie, women lie, but my results don't. You know what I'm saying? But what's up, man? Y'all, hey, listen. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. So listen, man, we are, I understand Sean Porter and Crawford about to do their thing. And, I think that fight is gonna be a great fight. If Porter is smart, uh, he would make the fight ugly. He would get in Crawford's chest and make him work for all 12 rounds. If he was smart, that would be the smart thing to do. But let's say something, man. People gotta understand. You know, I didn't work with Earl for the Mikey Garcia fight. But let me say this. Okay, Belgium. What up? What up? What up? Tim Ambition, appreciate the love. McGee, what's going on? All right, so you got to think about this. I didn't train Earl for the Mikey fight, but one thing about it is Earl had already told you I fought Mikey fight. Y'all sit up here and say that I can't box, he can't box, but y'all forget about him going to the Olympics. Y'all forget about it. You cannot be an exceptional, phenomenal boxer. I mean, you cannot go to the Olympics if you're not a great or exceptional boxer. It's not gonna happen. When you get chose to go to the Olympics, it's you the best of the best. Let's be real. But he fought Mikey Garcia's fight, outboxed him, outclassed him. Period. Go look at the tape. Listen, it's on YouTube. Some of us watched the fight on pay-per-view. Some of us watched the fight live. I was there. I seen it with my own eyes. He outclassed me, outboxed him at his fight. Then let's talk about Sean Porter, right? Sean Porter. I think he's a good fighter. I call him a good fighter. He's not the most technically sound. I believe that when he fought Ugas, he fought the wrong fight. Because me personally, I think he lost the Ugas fight. Right? I feel like he lost to Ugas. But at the same time, I feel like he should have brawled Ugas. He should have made the fight ugly. He shouldn't have tried to box Ugas because Ugas, from a technical standpoint, is a better boxer than Sean Porter. Period. Right? But they gave it to Sean Porter, which I disagree with. But I like Sean Porter. I like what he stands for. I like what he represents. I don't like his fashion, but he's a great man. He's a great dude. You know what I mean? Let's just be straight up. And I like the aspect of him and his father have a tight knit relationship, and I believe that we need that in media. Like Devin Haney and his father, Errol Spence and his father. People talk about it. People forget that Errol Spence's father is in the picture. He's always in the corner. You know what I mean? And he's a great man because I know him personally, right? So Earl beat Sean Porter and didn't even do strength and conditioning. He didn't do strength and conditioning with me for Mikey Garcia. He didn't do it for Sean Porter, and he still beat him. At his fight, he fought Sean Porter, toe-to-toe, fought his fight. Earl could have stayed on the outside and picked him apart. Y'all done seen it, just like he did Mikey, 12-0 Mikey. Earl could have just stayed on the outside, used his jab, and just outclassed him and beat him. On top of not doing strength and conditioning. But guess what he did? He decided to fight the man at his fight and still beat him at his fight. Now, Danny Garcia, we forget about that. Listen, let me tell you something. Nobody, make sure y'all like and share and subscribe. Nobody I know in boxing, I don't know a single person in boxing that after a car wreck, the horrific experience that Errol Spence experienced, that he came back and he didn't take a tune up. Hey, for y'all that's watching this, make sure y'all comment. Name a fighter that you believe that experienced the same thing that Errol Spence experienced that would have came back and took somebody in the top 5 of their division. I, right now, only currently, I know people are going to watch this video, but for the 11 people that I see on the live stream that I see, it might be more because I know YouTube play with numbers. Tell me who you think would have came back and took a top 5 fighter in their division and not took a tune-up. Anybody. Give me a name. Randy. What up, Randy? He said not one fighter. D. McGee. I hope I'm saying it right. He said nobody. Nobody would have did it. No one else. Appreciate that, Mr. Davidson. Mr. Ambition, nobody. Everybody is saying nobody. Right? Nobody would have took a top 5. They would have took a tune-up. Let's be real, y'all. So it just speaks of his pedigree. It speaks of his tenacity and how great of a man. Somebody said maybe Usyk, he built different too. Well, we don't know. That's speculation, right? That's speculation. But we know what Errol Spence did. Now, for y'all that's watching, let me ask y'all a question then. How did Errol do in his first fight? He came back, right? When Errol Spence came back and he fought Danny Garcia. And remember, he did not do strength and conditioning with me. We didn't. He just went in, did work with his head coach, Derrick James, sparred, did his road work, and didn't do strength and conditioning. And look how he beat Danny Garcia. Beat him easily. Now, I seen an interview with Danny Garcia that said he was like 70%. Now, if Danny Garcia was 70%, dealing with COVID and everything, that encompassed COVID, everything you had to deal with. Now, think about Errol Spence. He dealing with COVID too. He dealing with the protocols of COVID too. And he came from a car wreck. A horrific car wreck at that. So, Danny Garcia, if you were 70%, Earl had to be 30. He was dealing with COVID protocols just like you were. And he came back from a car wreck. And he outclassed him easily. Just stayed on the outside and just beat him to death. I was front row. Watching a master at work. He the best at 47. Now, I feel like one of Terence Crawford's most difficult fights, in my opinion, was him and Gamboa. Now, I need everybody to go back and watch that fight. Gamboa has no defense. Zero. He fights with his guard down. Gamboa fights with his freaking guard down. Period. He fights with his guard down. And this is the man that rocks you? Y'all see my leg? That's my leg shaking, y'all. He had them legs shaking. Yeah, he had T-Bug like that. And you mean to tell me that you... Really? Name somebody. So then they will talk about Kell Brook. The Kell Brook that Terence Crawford fought was not the same Kell Brook that Errol Spence fought. Because let's be transparent. The Kell Brook that fought Errol Spence, Keith Thurman didn't want no smoke with him. Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia didn't want no smoke. Because remember, that Kell Brook was the number 1 in the division at the time. The Kell Brook that Terence Crawford fought, I don't know where he was ranked. He wasn't even the same man. Everybody know that fighters diminish. Their skill set diminishes. Their fitness level diminishes over a certain amount of time. And if you're not active in that ring rust is real. So let's just be transparent. Because he want to compare himself to Earl. You can't do it. You cannot do it. Listen, Earl could have unified the division. Earl could have unified the division a long time ago. But you know what? Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, and Keith Thurman didn't want no smoke with him in 2018. Let's be real. Keith Thurman surely didn't want no smoke with him. Keith Thurman didn't want no smoke at all. He was dodging Earl. Right? He didn't want no smoke. He was scared at that time, making all excuses. Go look. It's documented. Earl called this man out. I don't know how many times. And Keith Thurman came up with every excuse in the book not to fight Errol Spence. Let's talk about the people that ducked Earl. When Earl fought Phil Greco he was a step in. There's quite a few people that ducked Earl. If anybody say they fought Earl on a notice, well, guess what? That means that somebody else was supposed to fight him. And for whatever reason, they chickened out. Because you've heard Earl in recent interviews say, I don't even want to fight Keith Thurman. Because he ducked him. He could have been at 54. He could have been undisputed at 47. That's why I say he's the best at 47. He could have been unified the division. If Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, and Danny Garcia would have fought him years ago. When I was doing his strength and conditioning, and we went on an 11 stoppage win streak. But I'm back. We trained for Pacquiao, even though, it was a bad situation for what transpired with Earl's eye. But I trained him for the Pacquiao fight, and I'm sure, I'm gonna be training him for his rest of his career. And when I was working with him, he had 11 fights straight that he stopped everybody. And I'm telling y'all, it was nobody but God that saved Pacquiao. Because I'm telling you, Earl was going to stop Pacquiao if that fight would have happened. I'm telling you. That little stuff that Ugas did to him, no. He would have been stopped because Earl was strong as hell. We were back at tip-top shape. I promise you. So, from my understanding, Earl is coming back. And from my understanding, I'm going to try him for his next fight. And it's going to be a massacre. It's going to be a massacre. And I'm going to end y'all with this. Like my brother Earl said, T-Bud, you light in the...